Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host RN. Today we'll be diving into the world of Pikmin, but I want to give a quick shout out to my channel members Morgan and Alex Billings. Thank you for your support to the channel, and thank you to everybody who watches my content. Also, thank you for helping me reach 1,000 subscribers recently. I appreciate the love. I know I'm putting out World of Pikmin pretty consistently, but I am also going to be putting out some gaming content because somebody commented recently about continuing some of that. I'm happy to oblige, I'll mix it in. And I'm also working on another series being put out as well. But if you want to become a channel member as well, just click the join button underneath this video. Any support is appreciated, and thank you. Okay, back to the show. Welcome to the world of Pikmin. We'll be discussing multiple families today, encompassing around beetles within the Pikmin universe, and we'll begin with the Flint Beetle family. Our first member of the Flint Beetle family is the iridescent Flint Beetle. It appears in Pikmin 1 through 4 and is hidden, burrowed underground, until a leader triggers its reveal by proximity. From there, it will skitter about randomly and send any Pikmin it comes into contact with into an absolute frenzy. They won't deal any damage from around it, but if they are tossed and land on it from above, the beetle will give loot such as pellets or spray. Olimer goes more in depth to this phenomenon. Flint beetles are nocturnal, choosing to hide in the grass by day and stay active at night. These creatures keep undigested food pellets in their stomachs to sustain them through winter, but given the right stimulus, they'll spit them out. Recent research has revealed that these pellets are enveloped in a membrane that seals and preserves them in a sterile, airtight environment. If kept at room temperature, it seems that this pellet membrane will keep its contents fresh for up to 6 months. The membrane may be made from the same substance that gives the exoskeleton of the Flint Beetle its beautiful sheen. Finally, after a period of time or enough landed tosses, this beetle will eventually return underground again. Immediately, we are going to transition to the Doodlebug. It's similar to the form of the iridescent Flint Beetle, but differs in appearance with its grime and flies surrounding it. It has the same behavior and same effect upon Pikmin, and can still give loot, but while being chased it does release toxic gas that only white Pikmin are immune to. Olimar goes in depth to this. While life forms that excrete foul musks to warn off danger are not rare, the Doodlebug is the only species known to release flatulence when active above ground. Interestingly enough, since it is merely releasing the gas created by decay of the contents of the creature's intestines, it does not have a special musk-producing organ. This means the creature is in fact merely flatulating. Spectral analysis of the rank gas indicates it contains not only methane, but hydrogen sulfide as well, making the flatulence a grade 13 biohazard. For those that may not know, methane, represented by the symbol CH4, is non-toxic, but can suffocate people if it displaces oxygen within a space. Obviously, that's not a risk in this scenario, since you usually meet them in large open spaces. But hydrogen sulfide, known as H2S, can be created by the breakdown of organic material, such as food waste or animal waste, and can be lethal based on concentration. Above 1 to 2,000 parts per million concentration, it's considered to cause nearly instant death. 500 to 700 parts per million, collapse in 5 minutes, so it shows why this dense cloud might give such an extreme reaction. Up next, we have the stony flint beetle. Appearing in Hey Pikmin, the stony flint beetle can be found in peculiar rockfall. It doesn't behave similarly to the other family members, as it drops no loot and doesn't appear from underground. It acts as an inadvertent environmental hazard by pushing iron blocks around with its hind legs, similar to dung beetles. The only potential it has of harming you is by dropping this block on you or your Pikmin, and after you wrestle control of the block away from it and push it over a ledge, it can be seen flying away. As it appears only in Hey Pikmin, this is the only log info written about it. Its carapace is as hard as steel. It often uses its strong hind legs to push rocks, though it's not clear why. Is it hoarding them for some purpose? Watching it reminds me that sometimes in life, it's as important to pull as it is to push. I wish I could put that in beetle terms for this guy. Up next, we're going to transition into the glint beetle family, which only has one member, the iridescent glint beetle. Appearing in Pikmin 2 and 4, they're similar in appearance to the iridescent flint beetle, but are gold and shiny along their shell. This can be attributed to its eating patterns. When struck by Pikmin from above, they can drop loot such as 5 pellets, nectar, and spray. And with Olimar's notes, we can dive deeper into its lifestyle. This variety of beetle consumes subterranean minerals due to the fact that it rarely emerges above ground. Sightings of this particular species are extremely rare. While minerals are this beast's primary source of food, the beetle itself does not have the ability to digest these minerals. Instead, metabacteria living inside the beetle's stomach chemically break down the minerals. The resulting purified metal is discharged, but rare metals such as gold and platinum crystallize onto the iridescent glint beetle's shell, resulting in the beautiful laminated shimmer. It's actually quite fascinating to think that it eats these minerals for inherently no real gain if it can't digest it, and then for some reason the bacteria inside of its own body would use that as materials for its shell, kind of like how we use some leftover material for hair and fingernails, I would say. For our final entry, we'll be diving into the Scarab Beetle family. It has 3 members, and we'll begin with the Anode Beetle. Anoid beetles appear in Pikmin 2 and 4 and are not necessarily enemies, as they show no aggression towards you or your Pikmin, but can provide an environmental hazard as beetles can conduct electricity between each other. Like flint beetles, they're immune to damage due to their shell, unless you land a Pikmin on them from above, or a purple Pikmin could flip them by landing near them as they cause tremors. Olimar goes more in depth to their capabilities in his notes. This specimen is representative of an insect hybrid that uses electricity in addition to glycogen for its energy. Although difficult to confirm due to their microscopic size, tiny hairs on the creature's legs cause the friction that generates the electrical charge. The electrical charge is processed by the creature's internal machina battery structure, and then stored as a Deus electrical field. As this field reaches critical levels, surplus electricity is emitted, resulting in a low voltage current that is transmitted between specimens. It can shock other creatures in the immediate vicinity. Considering this process, it can be surmised that the largest impetus to pack behavior is not so much for synergic effect of producing as a pact, as it is to take advantage of this most effective means of group preservation. And right after this, we are transitioning into a variation of Anoid Beetle called the Widemouth Anoid Beetle. Appearing in Hey Pikmin, it's somewhat the antithesis of the vanilla Anoid Beetle in terms of behavior. It roams secluded with a field of light generated around it, and it will become aggressive if you enter this field and will actively eat Pikmin. Olimar has this to say about them. This pesky creature loves to generate its own electricity. It prefers solitude and becomes aggressive if provoked. It really couldn't be more different from me, could it? Part of me wishes I could assert myself as strongly as this terrifying monster does. And it's kind of interesting that some would evolve to be lone wolves, so to speak, while others would form packs. But you can leave your comments down below on these two variations. Our final entry for the Scarab Beetle family is the Electropede. The Electropede can be found in Hey Pikmin as well, and like some of the other members shown today, are not necessarily enemies and are more so environmental hazards. They can be seen crawling around certain sections of the map, and when struck will immediately discharge electricity and emit light, which has its utilities in-game, but otherwise they are not aggressive and seen nowhere else. This is Olimar's notes on these creatures. It creeps along the walls and ceilings in the dark, generating the electricity it uses to zap away threats. If I could get a bunch of these and harness them for a power plant, I'd be richer than the company president. And that is all the families and members for today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, if you have a piece of fiction or subject you'd like me to make a video on, or you just want to say hi, leave a comment down below. I usually respond to most when I get the chance. I appreciate the support, and I will see you next time. Peace.